you tell me this is great news that Dubbo is going to be able to host this aerial firefighting conference?
Yeah, it is actually quite an interesting conference. It's in August next year, and it's one of the things that I think that Dubbo does really well, has the ability to host conferences, not huge conferences, but this here is a conference with 250 aerial firefighting and aerial emergency response professionals. And those sort of conferences around that, say, 250 to maybe up to 500 people, that's the real sweet spot for Dubbo. We've got enough accommodation to handle that easily. We've got conference facilities to handle that. And this is another great example of that. But all of these things inject money into our economy. All of these things are good just in general for our business community. And it also gets to show off what we've got here. Now, this will be the first international delegation to visit the 8 million New South Wales Rural Fire Service Aviation Centre of Excellence. Now, that's currently under construction within the grounds of the State Training Academy. So that'll really show that off. And I think this will be a perfect example of the first of many things that will come to take advantage of what we've got in Dubbo, all of these different facilities here. We estimate it'll probably inject about $200,000 into our economy from people visiting, staying at accommodation, spending money in restaurants, cafes, all of those sorts of things. And that's great for our economy and great for these continual events that we see.
Is this going to set a precedence, do you think, with Dubbo hosting really international conferences like this?
I don't know that we'll see a plethora of international events, but certainly we will see some events when it suits that particular conference. And some conferences want to get away from the city. They might want to host an international conference, but away from the city. Some conferences, it makes sense to get out of the city. And again, we couldn't host something of a huge size. I'm at the Gold Coast, for example, at the moment, with a conference for 1,500 people. I don't think our city is really set up to host a conference of this size. But when you get those smaller conferences and when it suits them, and in this particular case, it is related to something that we've got the facilities there with aerial firefighting, with that New South Wales Rural Fire Service Aviation Centre of Excellence. I mean, those things there are perfect for being able to host and show off those skills or show off those facilities we've got when people are coming to look at those facilities. So I think it makes sense. And there are niche conferences that Dubbo absolutely suits. We've obviously got the zoo. What a great facility we've got there, and having something for people to come and do and visit, with other facilities there, with the Royal Flying Doctor Service Visitor Experience Centre, with the Old Dubbo Jail. Even when you go to, say, the Wellington Caves around the area, we've got lots of those great facilities that makes it attractive, and plus enough motel beds that we can fit these people in when they come and stay here. So, yes, I think we'll see more of them. I don't think we're going to be inundated with them, but certainly we are set up to be able to handle these sort of conferences.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Matthew.
Thanks, Sam.